Everything started to fall apart.
Take a minute or two in the car.
Satan does not want you to be victorious.
Trusting him is giving him everything.
Once I started to understand spiritual warfare, it was just a complete shift.
I'm a Christian. I've been doing devotionals.
I accepted Christ, how I should live from now on.
Like, I've really just seen him work in my life.
We live in a fallen world, and it's hard.
If you need to take it all away, take it all away.
If we have to sit in this for a long time, we'll wait on you. But we're not moving without you. We had kids, and I just kind of thought that everything was going to go in an upward trajectory, and that's not what happened at all. Everything started to fall apart from a business sense. Every time we turned around, there was just a gut-wrenching issue that was hard. Not wanting to blame God, but at a certain point also saying, well, Lord, I know you can fix this. I learned a lot more about spiritual warfare. I read in Daniel, he wants to hear from the Lord, and the Lord is silent, and he really needs to hear from the Lord. Finally, an angel comes, and the angel says, I was dispatched the first time you prayed, but I was in combat until I got here now. There are things that you can pray for, and it's not the Lord withholding from you, but there is a spiritual component to it. Satan does not want you to be victorious in your walk with the Lord.
Julie was just a prayer warrior, a support warrior, someone who was unwavering in helping push me to get through it at the right times, cheering me on at the right times, questioning and pushing me to take actions that maybe I was hesitant to take.
Our kids were so young that we didn't expose them to the struggles and the problems that we were going through that much. We didn't want to burden them with fear or anxiety at the ages they were at.
I vaguely remember some parts of it, but not like, I didn't know all about it at the time.
They were the joy for us. They didn't even realize it. Very thankfully, our home was the safe place.
It was the place of positivity that we could go to. Drive up and take a minute or two in the car just to eliminate everything, pray, and go in, and then go in and have everybody run and jump on me and have that Disneyland experience just for a second, you know.
In the living room.
In the living room.
When I wouldn't know what to pray, I would pray, Lord, I know you love us. And we trust you. And when you're in a season of turmoil and hard, those two things are really hard to say. You're being tempted to not believe that he loves you and that he can't be trusted and that you need to go your own way and figure this out. And so sometimes I just sat in prayer repeating those two things.
You're invested and you put time and energy and money and sweat. Your mind is, this is the right way. And then I had to say, you know what, Lord, I release it. I give it back to you. If you need to take it all away, take it all away. And I trust you. It won't be pretty. It won't be easy. It won't be financially lucrative. We need to be able to give that up.
I went from banging my hand on the steering wheel and saying, Lord, where are you, to even if a solution comes and it's not from the Lord, I don't want it. If we have to sit in this for a long time, we'll wait on you. But we're not moving without you. We're not going anywhere without you. Once I started to understand spiritual warfare, it was just a complete shift. My prayer life changed, and then so did our situation.
I went outside and sat outside the house, and I was like praying, Lord, bring some type of hope or salvation. And this guy walked by with his wife. They came up to say hi, and ended up it was a dentist, and he was looking for a job. And I needed someone to fill a job. Okay, Lord. I didn't expect that. To me and to Julie, it was like God saying, I might just have someone walk by. You know, that's how I work sometimes. The amazing thing is that, you know, God takes care of you in other ways. I had gone through this dual residency, and I came out with 2 specialties, and there were only 12 people in the country that had these 2 specialties. So I started lecturing, I started teaching. There was a huge demand for information on what I had done. That portion of my career took off like I did not expect that. I went from lecturing a couple times a year to 50, 60 times a year. It took off faster, and I didn't have a plan for that. I just started, yes, I'll do this, yet taking everything. Amazingly, that's what sustained us. The only thing that was bringing in income to pay the bills and feed the kids and, survive. There were 2 points where buying a company and then selling a different company that were the big turning points, but that didn't mean everything was okay. So it was a years and years long process.
It was not God withholding anything from us. He's true. I think the biggest thing I learned was that He's true. Okay, Lord, I'd rather have nothing in you than everything and not you. But I'm sticking with you, regardless of what you do with our lives. And what He did was beautiful. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. Definitely want them to understand that everything just doesn't always go the way you want it to go, but you don't crumble and you don't crash. You have faith in the Lord and that He is always on the throne. He's got a plan, and even when everything looks like it's a mess, just wait on the Lord. We don't want to just plow the path for them. We don't want to ever give them the impression that, the way things are now is just how it is with our family. That's not the case, and it may not be tomorrow.
We like being at home. We called a lodge. We gave it a name because we wanted the kids to have a place to live life and enjoy life and not just come and watch TV.
I like hanging out here, going paddleboarding, fishing, kayaking, doing stuff around the house.
I like being outside. I like paddleboarding on, a lake or a pond, and I like going on bike rides, and I like to read a lot.
All of us like sports a lot, so we'll just play sports, football, pickleball.
We like to surf, and we're really outdoorsy and like to spend time on the lake and spend time out here.
Brody's teaching the kids to play chess. I'm not, but he is.
Yeah,
so
play chess together.
they've each taken an interest in that.
Relying on the Lord and being action-oriented. And we share with them, we talk with them about what we had to do to survive.
As they become adults, and when things aren't easy, they could very easily say, well, it's just hard for me, and this is terrible. I never saw Mom and Dad struggle. What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. We live in a fallen world, and it's hard, but the Lord is there to go through all of this with us. Every year before school starts, we read The Dangerous Journey, which is a kids' adaptation of The Pilgrim's Progress. We're going to do it this year, even as our oldest is going into college. It is just a great reminder of the world we live in. We are on a journey with the Lord, and that He has given us the narrow gate and the path, and there are things that are going to try to get us off that path. And our conversations have changed as they've gotten older. The things that are trying to take them off the path have gotten more intense.
I'm a Christian. I've been doing devotionals on my own and reading the Bible, and then also books that talk about the Bible and explain kind of the Christian faith and how to walk with Christ.
I accepted Christ sitting with Him on the porch and then telling me all about it, what it means, how I should live from now on. With private Christian schools, really hard to find people that are actually for the Lord and living their life for the Lord. They're in the Christian school, they go to church. My parents want me to do this and these are the rules, but it's not their faith. It's kind of their parents' faith.
One of the challenges would just be fully accepting that all of it is true. When I have questions, I would want to, know a lot of answers. I did get a lot of answers throughout high school with my teachers in Bible classes and just asking questions and seeing why Christianity is true. A lot of people who study science just kind of see it like the world is materialistic, a naturalistic worldview that really doesn't make sense or answer all of the questions that everybody has about reality and life and death.
I definitely feel God's presence, and especially when I'm maybe not in a Christian setting. Really, when I get out into other places like club soccer, I really feel God's presence, and the difference between how they live and how I live, convicting me and showing me how to show His love to other people, especially non-Christians, what it means to me and how it can change them.
So, when I was little, I accepted Christ, but as I've gotten older, I've really just seen Him work in my life and how He's just impacted me. It's been really impactful. With people pleasing, Just like finding my true identity in Christ and like how he's changed me. Just like being my closest friend.
I accepted Jesus when I was young, but I wasn't discipled. And I think that has colored a lot of the way we parent. I just wanted to make sure that as they were growing up, that we talked about Jesus. He wasn't just for Sundays on church, but he was a part of our everyday lives.
We have a blessing dinner once a year where we talk about just things that we're thankful for, and that's all that we talk about.
Hey, let's say, something that we really admire about this person, about mom, or about this child. And everybody has to go around the room and come up with something. Creating a positive faith family environment that is uplifting.
They always find the positive side to things, reiterate what Christ would do.
They like always let us ask questions, and they always push us to like read our Bible and like memorize verses. When I was younger, I didn't like it, but like now I like enjoy doing it. Encouraging us to get in the Word and like encouraging us in our walk with Christ.
It is just a time of intensity and a time of struggle for a lot of parents, and they're not alone. It is scary to raise kids at this time. For every generation before, the threats were physical threats known that would have to get close enough to your kid to harm them, but that's not the case anymore. The technology available and the things kids have available to them is super scary. There are all kinds of avenues to your kids, and they don't have to be under your roof, or they can get under your roof without you knowing. They don't have to pass through the front door, but the Lord did say, be fruitful and multiply. He has told us to trust him. He has told us that he's on the throne and that he's not leaving the throne. You are really thinking that everything is going to be gone. You really get to see what you do believe, and you really get to see if you trust the Lord.
Trusting him is giving him everything, and even the things that you work hard at. And I had to give up some stuff that I didn't want to give up.
Faith is not circumstantial, and that he is there in all of the hard times.
We didn't even know that the things that had happened a decade before, or 6 years before, how they came together to help us get through it. He can be very direct in giving you the plan and pressing on your heart. This is what you're to do, and you know it's very clear. And he can be very quiet and let you figure it out some of the time. That doesn't mean he's not at work. Even in those months and years of silence or of lack of a concrete answer, you have to trust and you have to continue to be faithful, because he's working in the background and he is doing things you can't see.
Surround yourself with good friends that have the same goals as you and are driven and want to know Christ more and live for him. If you're not with those kind of people, maybe separate yourself, because friends are really powerful.
Making sure that you're relying on your faith to trust in the Lord even when it's like difficult.
God created us for a certain time and a certain place. We can get really frustrated with where the world is right now, but he chose this time and this place for us. That thought gives me comfort. Also reminding our kids of that. They have been born for such a time as this. They have been born in this time in history, and the Lord was intentional about that, and he obviously has something for them to do here.
Go out and make disciples of the world. And it starts with your family at home.
When you are in a struggle, lean into Jesus. Don't decide that he doesn't care, doesn't love you anymore. Go all in with Jesus. Our youngest, Hartley, she is currently 14 years old.
One time, funny story, she's so excited to see me, she came running in and dove headfirst into my face, broke my nose at home, just broke it. I let out a yelp and Julie came in, and Hartley was all scared, and I looked at Julie and I could tell I didn't look normal, and so I had to fix it real quick, reset it, and then we kept going, and I told her it was okay. I'll just know to turn my head a little bit more.
God is love, and love comes from God. In 1 John, the Bible tells us that God is not only all loving, but that he actually is love itself. The heart of the Parent Compass television show is to bring the transforming love of God to families everywhere. In every Parent Compass episode, true stories reveal family struggles and how their lives were radically changed by the love of God. Parent Compass, an award-winning television series, is completely funded by people like you. If you have been touched by God and you want to share God's love to others, would you please pass it on? Jesus tells us to go into all the world and to tell about Him. With your donation, you allow us to take this television show into many different nations and in many different languages, free of charge. And a portion of your donation goes to Parent Compass Outreach to feed starving children. Your gift does so much. To make your tax-deductible gift, go to parentcompass.tv/donate. That's parentcompass.tv/donate. And thank you for sending love and hope around the world.